Episode 13. Have you brought little cakes? The season finale is narrated by Quentin as he is writing the 7th Fillory and Further book. Chapter 1. Journey of the Witch and the Fool. Julia and Quentin successfully follow Jane into Fillory. They are exposed to the wonders of Fillory and they get excited knowing that by following Jane in, they are going to witness a scene from the novel. In the book, Jane gets caught in a trap and then 2 wandering magicians free her. As Julia and Quentin are watching, waiting to see the scene happen, they come to the realization that it wasn't just 2 random magicians passing by, it was them. They're the magicians who free Jane. They end up saving her, and then she runs off, and then they realize that somebody else followed them into Fillory, Martin. Chapter 2. By all means, hinge your quest on a traumatized boy. Julia and Quentin tell Martin that they also want to try to stop Plover, and they ask Martin if he knows anything about the Leo Blade, a weapon that would be able to stop a god or a mutant magician. He says no, he doesn't know about the Leo Blade, but he might know somebody that does. The knife maker says that the only material that would be strong enough to kill a god is moonstone, a very precious and expensive material that would take a long time to harvest. In exchange for him making this knife for him, he wants a seat on the Fillorian Council. The reason he makes this request to them is because Fillory can only be ruled by children of Earth. After placing their order with the knife maker, they go looking for a way to get back into the future. They end up running into the Watcher Woman, whose presence scares Martin into running away. Chapter 3. The Watcher Woman. It turns out that the Watcher Woman is grown-up Jane Chatwin. They unfortunately have to inform her that she has died in the future and that the time loop is over. Coming to terms with this information, she asks them if they survived this to make a temple in her honor. She pauses time for Julia and tells Quentin that, hey, there's a haphazard memory patch in Julia's mind during the time when they did the goddess summoning. She tells Quentin that if he cares for Julia, he should protect her. She then unfreezes Julia and sends the 2 of them into the future. Chapter 4. Everything sucks now, and why? The beast's reign over Fillory has turned Fillory into something dark and drab and nothing like how it was in the past. A paper airplane comes up to Julia and Quentin and it guides him to the others. Knowing what he knows about Fillory, Quentin thinks he might know where Victoria is being held captive. But before they do that, they need to go see the knife maker's house and get the knife. On the way towards the knife maker's house, they see a gravestone for Martin Chatwin. Chapter 5. Be careful what you bargain for. At the knife maker's house, they realize that enough time has passed now that the original knife maker is dead, and now his son, who was a boy at the time, is in charge. His price for the knife is that the High King of Fillory marries his grown daughter in exchange for the knife. He has a special knife and goes around testing everybody to see who the current High King is. It ends up being Elliot. Chapter 6. How to prepare for a Fillorian wedding. So apparently, marriage in Fillory is different. There are no annulments, and you can never be with another person, and once you get married, you can't leave Fillory. Elliot tells Margot that maybe this is the best for him, it's a fresh new start away from all the Mike stuff on Earth, and he asks Margot to be his best man. He ends up marrying the knife maker's daughter, Fen. Chapter 7. Weddings are so boring that Penny would rather astral project into a dungeon. During the wedding sequence, Penny tries to figure out the best way into the dungeon and to figure out where Victoria is exactly being held. After the wedding, they are also given the knife, where they find out there is an additional problem with the knife, and the fact that in order to wield such a powerful weapon, the person who wields it themselves needs to be a master magician, which none of them are. So as they go to hold the knife, it ends up burning them and they have to drop it. Chapter 8. Like I said, be careful what you bargain for. Julia has an idea to contact Ember to try to get power from him to maybe be able to wield the knife. Penny's highest priority is to go rescue Victoria, and the gang ends up splitting up, with Julia and Quentin going after Ember, Elliot consummating his relationship with Fen, and then everybody else going to the dungeon to try to rescue Victoria. The dungeon is in an invisible castle, and the only reason that the castle is invisible is because the previous Fillorian royals used up all their budget that figured builder's grade material would be fine as long as nobody would be able to see it. Chapter 9. The Gift of Ember. Ember has been trapped in his temple by the beast since magic in Fillory doesn't belong to anybody, not even the gods, and so anything Ember would try to do would be stopped by the beast. Quentin volunteers himself as a champion, and Ember ends up bestowing upon him the seed of his essence, With the essence, he would be able to wield the knife and hopefully defeat the beast. Ember says that only the best and purest can defeat the beast, and since Quentin has never stopped loving Fillory, he is the perfect champion. Ember also notices the patch in Julia's head and graciously destroys it for her. Chapter 10, Helpless. With the patch being destroyed, Julia now regains her memories, and we find out what really happened at the goddess summoning. Instead of summoning their lady underground, Reynard the fox, a trickster spirit, ended up coming. Once Julia realized there was something wrong, she tried to stop the summoning, but Reynard turned to her and said, "You can't unring the bell." The ritual turns into a massacre where Reynard takes over Richard's body and possesses him. Katie is only able to escape because he is too distracted essaying Julia, saying this is what he came here for. In the aftermath, Julia is left surrounded in a bloody mess, shaken up, and in a state of shock. The only person she can think of contacting is Marina, and Marina shows up and she asks her to do what Breakbills did to her and to erase her memories. She does so. After Julia shares this with Quentin, Quentin makes a promise to her that he will help her get her revenge against Reynard. The rescue mission was successful and they were able to get Victoria as well as the person in the cell next to her. When Quentin gets back and sees who the other person is that they rescued, he realizes that the other person they rescued was Plover. So this means that Plover can't be the beast. Plover tells him that Martin is the beast. After Fillory stopped accepting him, Martin was desperate to figure out a way to stay permanently in Fillory. He found the wellspring of magic in Fillory and has been drinking it daily, which has led to the result of him becoming powered up, but also the magic erased all of his humanity. Quentin has a moment of doubt and clarity where he realizes that even though his entire life he has wished to be chosen, he might not be the right choice to wield the knife to go after the beast. He offers this up to Alice instead, saying, "You're the better magician, you should take the essence of Ember and wield the knife." She then swallows down the essence of Ember and they make their way to the wellspring. At the wellspring, Julia is very distracted. And upon going inside the wellspring, everybody realizes that the wellspring has taken the shape of Plover's writing room. Even though Martin has all this power now, he has never been able to escape the trauma that was inflicted upon him as a child. The beast shows up and Quentin tries to distract him by appealing to child Martin, saying, "You don't need to keep killing everybody, you're okay now, you have the power, please don't hurt us." But the beast says, "I'm not gonna listen to your cheap tricks." And when Alice tries to grab for the knife to attack him, she realizes that she doesn't have the knife anymore. The beast starts controlling the situation and it seems like it's going to turn bleak. All hope has seemed to be lost until at the last moment Julia shows up wielding the knife. She's able to surprise the beast. Julia knows he knows how to kill a god since supposedly he killed Umber, the other god of Fillory. Instead of ending his life, she makes a deal with him to go after Reynard. They leave. After they leave, Quentin is left looking over a very disastrous state where everybody is still alive but hurt, and then everything fades to black.